Yo, what's up? Welcome to the opening line. Coming at you a little bit later on today. Had a hell of a morning on this side of town, but we are good to go. Benny, what's up with you, my man?
Not too much. I'm a little tired at the moment, Corey. I had not seen Avengers Endgame, and it dropped last night on iTunes, but not until 12 o'clock midnight. I didn't realize until I started watching it that it's a 3-hour movie. So I didn't get to bed till that movie was long as hell. So I didn't get to bed till 3:30 in the morning last night. So luckily,
it's real good though.
It was pretty good. I got to be honest. I thought some of the other ones were better.
Okay.
I think part of the problem was it just dragged on, and it was 3 o'clock in the morning. And I was like, at that point, I kind of just want them to kill Thanos and this movie to end. So, it is what it is. But was not a good night for me last night. I got to be honest. The Angels screwed me last night. I was way too heavy on them. I had the Angels over. I had the Angels to win.
They only scored one run, right?
I think they lost. I forget what the final was, 5 or 6 to 1 to the Detroit Tigers with Jordan Zimmerman on the mound, who had looked horrible all season. Finally, they were actually talking about it during the broadcast too. He throws a slider that hasn't really been working for him and hasn't been moving all year. It was moving pretty good yesterday. He induced a lot of weak ground balls and a lot of guys hitting balls off the end of the bat for lazy pop flies and stuff like that. So that one killed me. I had a very good weekend, but I gave a bunch of it back last night. I got to be honest.
All right. Well, it's never good when you get a bunch of it back, but the goal is to get it back tonight. Don't worry. And also, we got preseason football coming up this week too. So, yeah, I know. Benny, don't judge me.
I'm not.
Don't judge me, Benny. Let me tell you something. The NFL Hall of Fame game has just been the total has been around 31, 32, 33 for the past decade. I think the number is set at 34. So listen, that you can take a swing on the under on that, Benny. Come on, don't do that. Football.
I mean, listen, you know me. It's the first football game of the year, so I will throw something on it. Just like a $20 bet one way or another, because I'm going to sit there and watch it. But my problem with preseason, Corey, is you're not getting the actual team. You sit here and you do all these fantasy drafts, and you're breaking down who's going to get carries and who's going to get touches and who's going to get the ball. You're going to be looking at the third team offense against the third team defense for most of these games. And it's I haven't gone that deep into depth charts,
Yeah, man. I'm about to, I got 3 podcasts for the draft guide that I have to record this week. That draft guide over at fantasyguru.com. So I was trying to work out the schedule with the fellas so I didn't have a mistake like I did last week where I recorded them all backwards and shit like that. So Tyler Beaker, me and him are scheduled to record on Thursday.
Okay.
I'm recording with Armando today, and me and Tyler are recording tomorrow and Thursday. And he was like, yo, I just need to be done by 7 o'clock so I can get the last-minute lineup locked for preseason DFS. And I'm like, damn, son, it's only one game, and you going at it hard like that? And he's like, yeah, preseason DFS is my thing. And I was like, what do you know? You know what I'm saying?
I tell people all the time, the problem that I have with it is I'm still in baseball mode at this point, content-wise and most of my volume as well. If you have somebody, though, who's willing to do the work, if Tyler's good at it, and, he puts in the work and he reads the updates and he gets all the beat writers and, sees what they're saying and figures out who's going to be playing. If you have someone that's putting in the work, it's very profitable. Because half those teams wind up having Le'Veon Bell on it, and Le'Veon Bell gets 2 carries in the first series and doesn't play the rest of the game, and every one of those lineups is shot. So if you know what you're doing, there's definitely money to be made.
The Patriots and the Falcons are playing, so you get some Brian Hoyer, you get some Jarrett Stidham, you know what I'm saying? And then I don't know, Benny. I'm not. Tyler Beaker. Shout out to Tyler Beaker.
Yep.
All right, so let's get ready. I was in the draft last night. Went 18 rounds last night. FFWC starter. 18 rounds, standard operating system, 4 points for the quarterback, PPR. You start 3 wides, a flex, 2 running backs, tight end kicker, yada, 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 yada. And this is not this is the starter format, the regular FFWC format, and the World Championships. You actually start 2 flexes. Reason why I like that, Benny, is because that you don't leave that person on your bench. You know what I'm saying? You don't have that. A lot of times you'll have that 2 or 3 people for one spot. The FFWC, they give you an opportunity to get both those people in if you draft well. If not, sometimes you got a hard time finding that spot. But anyway, Christian McCaffrey is going first and went first last night. Maybe in about 2 of the last 3 drafts I've done, Benny, Christian McCaffrey has jumped up into that number 1 spot. My guess is probably has something to do with Cam Newton's comments of saying, I can't sling it like I used to, but I'm healthy. You know what I mean? And if Cam is talking like that, then you're thinking, okay, this could be a lot of Christian McCaffrey again this year.
All right, so you're looking at it from the positive side of it. I'm looking at it from the negative side of it of why he's going 1-1. And what I mean by the negative side is the negative side for Saquon Barkley. Like I think you have to talk about that whenever you talk about the fact that McCaffrey's starting to move up to 1-1 more often, is that Saquon Barkley's moving down, and that also has something to do with it. Again, we talked about the Golden Tate situation a little bit yesterday. Chances are he may skate of no suspension or maybe a lessened suspension. It's not going to be the 4 games. But you already have Shepard hurt too. There's a lot of people talking about the fact that, if it's going to be this week and we know Eli Manning can't throw the ball more than 34 yards, it's going to be tough for Barkley to really have the kind of season that a lot of people thought. So I think part of McCaffrey moving up to 1-1 is the news from Cam and people thinking he's going to be used more.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and part of it is also, Saquon Barkley and even Ezekiel Elliott, 2 of the other guys going in the top 4, both having some issues right now. Barkley because of his team and Zeke because of the holdout stuff.
No doubt. Speaking of right quick, before we get back to the draft, I'm on a couple of Dallas Cowboy message boards and fan boards, Dallas Cowboy communities. Son, let Ezekiel Elliott handle his business and get his money. You know what I'm saying? Oh, Alfred Morris is better. Oh, Zeke, we don't need Zeke. Shut up. Stop being stupid.
Alfred Morris is better guy needs to lose his account right now. Just leave your account right now.
Benny, you're talking about this is what Ezekiel Elliott has been done by Walter Payton and Jim Brown. That's it. You know what I'm saying? Like
really good guys to be stepping in the footsteps of. So, yeah.
Yes, Ezekiel Elliott deserves his money. He's not just some guy acting for a contract. This guy is on a Hall of Fame track. You know what I'm saying? He's not just some running back. And Benny, like I always say, I'll never ever understand why fans always side with owners. Working people siding with billionaire owners. I never get it. I
don't have anything to say. I mean, I don't. I agree.
Saquon Barkley goes second. Zeke goes third. Alvin Kamara goes fourth. That is the big 4 right there. You already know what that is. David Johnson is starting to make this a big 5, Benny, but I'm never going to take David Johnson.
I mean, I'm not going to say I'm never going to take David Johnson, but I don't want to go there. Like, there are people every year, Corey, that other people like more than me. And David Johnson is one of those. Like, again, I haven't had most of my drafts so far. I've either been in the top 4 where I got one of those running backs, or I've been at the back end where I kind of have been going like wide receiver heavy to start and then, moving on to some of the better running backs in like round 3, 4, 5 and trying to build my teams that way. If I'm at 5, though, I don't think I go David Johnson.
I'm not going David Johnson. I'm going Odell Beckham at 5. I'm not going David Johnson at 5.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. It really is tough, though. Like, honestly, I might even consider Kelsey if I'm there at 5 because I don't want to do Melvin Gordon. I don't want to do David Johnson, really.
You do Le'Veon Bell?
I would do Le'Veon Bell because I'm a Jets fan, and I really don't have that much of him. So if he has a huge year this year, I'm going to feel like crap because I haven't had a chance outside of my boy Robbie Anderson to have a Jet on my fantasy team.
Yeah, your team is winning and your fantasy team.
Yeah, it's like I haven't had a chance to be a fan and also a winning fantasy owner with Jets on my team in a long time. So I do want to get some Lev Bell.
6 went to DeAndre Hopkins. 7 in this league, Benny goes to Pat Mahomes. And I'm like,
Now, see, here's the thing you got to understand, though, Corey. There are some people who know what they're doing in every draft you're in, and there are some people who don't. And one of the biggest advantages you can have as somebody drafting is to be able to figure that out because the guys who know what they're doing, you can predict who they're going to be looking at by looking at their team. You look at their team, you're like, all right, this guy's got 3 wide receivers already. He's going to have to go running back or quarterback or something here. If he has 2 picks before I come and I want a wide receiver, I know I don't have to reach here because this guy's probably not taking one with one of those picks.
No doubt.
When you have people, though, who draft Pat Mahomes in the first round, that's when you got to say to yourself, like, yo, I'm taking best available player because this guy's liable to do anything. He could,
People think that. Don't get me wrong. You got it's definitely. As soon as I saw it, I'm like, okay, it's a mouse in the house. You know what I'm saying? So you may think that that's a good thing. That really cannot, like, okay, so you're going to push value down the board on just about all his picks. The thing about it is, he's such a wild card now. You know what I'm saying? Now he throws the rest of the draft off.
Yeah,
you're 100% correct on that. So after Mahomes, we get Devontae Adams. Then I go Odell Beckham with the 9th pick. The 10th pick goes to Travis Kelce.
Okay.
Pick 11 is Joe Mixon. And the turn, 12 and 13, Julio Jones and Michael Thomas.
The one I talked about yesterday. With Mike Thomas falling to 13 and 17. You can start a draft Julio Mike Thomas. I love doing that.
Let me tell you his running backs. Freeman, Jackson, Geis, Hunt, Breida, and Jalen Richard.
Wait, say this again. Freeman?
Uh-huh.
Royce Freeman or Devonta Freeman?
Devontae.
Okay. Who else was it?
Josh Jacobs.
Okay.
In my opinion, a swing and miss on Darius Geis. Then again, it could hit.
I am not that high on it, but go ahead.
Kareem Hunt.
You got nothing for the first 8 weeks.
Matt Breida.
All right. I mean, still, he's in a 3-headed situation, and he's probably third of the 3.
And Jalen Richard.
Didn't he just get cut?
He did?
Am I thinking of the wrong thing? Maybe not. But are you not cut? But they said that they're probably not going to give him the volume that they gave him. There's been a lot of rumblings. Okay. There's a reason why I've been crossing Jalen Richard off of my list of guys. I'll double check on it. We'll talk about it again tomorrow.
Because I've been like I said, I love the fact in best ball he was getting 29, like almost 30% of the targets, something crazy like that, 25% of the targets at one point last year. That's not going to happen this year with Antonio Brown there. If it does happen with Antonio Brown there, somebody will have some answering to do. So that's how we got started right there, Benny. So nothing out the ordinary besides Mahomes going in that first round. Mm-hmm. So when I came back on the board, Benny, I jumped on Le'Veon Bell. I get my first share of your man, Le'Veon Bell, for this year.
Now, what pick was that? What were you, like 9? So you were, what, 15 on the way back or something?
Yep. So I got Le'Veon Bell at 2-4.
Yeah, that's a good start. Was it 12 teams, right? So 12 people in there. So 16th overall pick. Mm-hmm. That's a really good start. Odell Beckham, Le'Veon Bell, that's a good start.
Coming back in the 3rd round, I had my guy, T.Y. Hilton, at the top of my queue. I get sniped on T.Y. Hilton. Mm-hmm. And then it was an interesting mix of running backs. Leonard Fournette, Marlon Mack, Aaron Jones, and Kerryon Johnson. So that's Fournette, Mack, Jones, and Johnson. K. Johnson.
So you're probably going to be surprised at my answer, but I'd go Johnson.
Carry on.
With them getting rid of Theo Riddick, I'm a lot higher on him now because now you could add the passing down game into there. And he had some really nice runs at the end of the last season, some really nice games. So I'm higher on him. I like Fournette. My problem with him is the injury stuff, right?
Yeah.
Aaron Jones, I don't know. I don't trust Aaron Jones. I really don't. Like I still think they want to throw the ball over there. I just really don't trust him. And then who's the other guy you threw in?
Leonard Fournette.
No, it's Fournette, somebody, Jones, and
Mack. Excuse me. Marlon Mack.
Marlon Mack I like too. Marlon Mack and Kerryon Johnson would probably have been the two I look at ahead of Aaron Jones. And like I said, Fournette, it's the injury thing with me. I don't want to touch him.
I went with Aaron Jones because I already have a ton of Marlon Mack. Okay. So I went with Aaron Jones. Now, the Kerryon Johnson thing I like. I like that.
I think he's moving up, and I think he deserves to. Like, he's talented. My biggest beef with him was, though, we all said, like, all right, well, yeah, but Theo Riddick's going to take all the passing down work. And Theo Riddick was a useful fantasy player by himself. You know what I mean? So if you now take Kerryon Johnson, who we all expect to be a useful fantasy player, and also give him the volume that we thought a useful fantasy player like Theo Riddick was going to get, now you got a guy who potentially could be a top 8 running back this year.
Listen, I'm all for it. Like, if you watch his highlights from 2 years ago when they went into Georgia, that kid put on a show, and big time. He showed that he's a big time player. in big time spots. So I'm a Kerryon Johnson supporter. Came back in round number 4, Benny, and looking at Brandon Cooks, Tyler Lockett, Julian Edelman, Robert Woods.
Round 4, I think it's a little early for Woods. Okay. Who is it? Edelman, Lockett,
Brandon Cooks.
I'd probably be looking between Cooks and Edelman.
I went with Lockett. Because
really?
He is a true number 1 receiver.
I just don't trust Seattle to throw the ball enough.
That's
my biggest problem. I think Lockett's going to have a bigger year because he's going to pick up more volume without Baldwin in there. But Seattle last year was one of the most run-heavy teams in the league. And the other problem I have with it is Seattle tends to play with leads. You know, they're a team that is pretty good and does tend to be in the lead, especially at home when they're up there in Seattle. I'm expecting a big year from Lockett, but to me, Julian Edelman is, you're getting your guaranteed 8 targets from him every game, if not more. He's going to come up with a bunch of catches, a bunch of yards. And then Cooks, to me, has the big upside. So depending on how I was looking at that point, if I needed somebody who was more consistent because I had a riskier wide receiver, I probably would have went Edelman. If I already had a team that I thought was solid and I was looking for upside, I probably would have went Cooks there.
All right, cool. I can dig it. You know what I'm saying? These are projections. I wanted to go to the Fantasy Guru site and look at some of the stuff from last season. I'm curious. I'm looking up right now, Benny. I wonder how many targets Tyler Lockett had last year. If I was to take a guess, I would say 110. What do you think?
I was going to say about 6 or 7 a game, probably a little over 6 a game. So 6 times 16, 96, 7 would be 112. Somewhere between, probably around there. 108 would have been my guess, right in the middle of, 96 and 112, somewhere around there.
Let's see what he did. I'm reading a report where Tyreek Hill suffered a bruise something.
I was waiting for you to get to Tyreek Hill so we could talk about that. He got carted off, actually.
Oh, I didn't know all that.
Yeah, he got carted off. I don't know how it literally, happened, so they didn't say how serious it was, but it definitely is something I'm monitoring as somebody who has a decent amount of them.
I don't have any shares, and I was looking to get some soon. But that's the situation. Oh, wow.
So a lot of people were talking about with Tyreek Hill how now that he's not getting suspended, and a lot of the early best ball drafts, he was like a 5th rounder, a 6th rounder, 4th rounder. And then when they found out he wasn't getting suspended, he was a 2nd or 3rd rounder. And people were like, man, all those people who were able to get him in 5th and 6th, the league's over, blah, blah, blah. Well, this is why league's not over, because if he really is hurt and he's down, that could be.
That was back on again. You're right.
That's what I'm saying. That could be a very, very major issue that we have to deal with here.
Benny, we were way off.
What do you have, like 4 or 5 targets a game? Was it like 80?
Son has 70 targets.
78? And he played all – wait, 70? Just flat 70?
Flat 70, Benny.
And he played all 16 games?
Yep. He had 70 targets. He had 57 receptions on 70 targets with 10 touchdowns.
4.5 a game?
That's almost – get a more efficient season than that.
I mean, he scored a touchdown on 14% of his targets if he had 70 targets with 10 touchdowns. That's insane.
That number has to go down.
Well, yeah, I mean, I didn't think he was going to keep the touchdown number up. Last year, his big – he had, I think it was like a 4 or 5 week stretch in a row where he had a touchdown like every week. That was what boosted up his fantasy value every week. It wasn't like he was putting up monster numbers outside of that, though.
Yeah, he played every game. So
when you're talking 70 targets, you're talking 4 times 16 is 40, 64. You're talking less than 4.5 targets a game.
Benny, he's got games where he had 2 targets and had 2 touchdowns.
That's pretty efficient. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah. But you got to feel like he's going to get more work this year, though, right?
Again, I mean, there's no Doug Baldwin this year, so that's going to change things. Like I said, the biggest problem I had when you look at the numbers for the Seattle Seahawks, and again, you don't think about it this way, but they were the run heaviest team in the league last year.
No doubt. And I went with Lockett, but that's a good call. The thing about it is Edelman is also a good pick right there because he's going to have much more than 70 targets. Brandon Cooks, though, Brandon Cooks is a scary player to me. Brandon Cooks is a lot of boom or bust with Brandon Cooks.
Well, that's why I said, I mean, Cooks is a guy that could have upside, though. Like, Cooks is a guy that could put up, to me, he's like a younger version of Deshaun Jackson.
He's so if you like weeks, and there's going to be some weeks where this son of a can you catch the goddamn ball? You know what I'm saying?
And there's going to be weeks where he has 2 catches for 37 yards, but there's going to be weeks where he has 5 catches for $140 and 2 touchdowns and scores 35, 40 fantasy points and wins somebody $1 million on DraftKings. That's Brandon Cooks.
5th round, I came back. You know my MO. I don't mind taking the quarterback early. I take the second quarterback off the board at Andrew Luck. I come right back and I grab a tight end with O.J. Howard. So this is something that I'm doing more of this year that I've warned against. When we get Benny all the way down to round 7, once again, I have decision to make at the wide receiver. Cortland Sutton, Will Fuller, Curtis Samuel, James Washington.
I know you're not big on Cortland Sutton, so my guess is you did not take him there.
No, I did not take Cortland Sutton.
Will Fuller, James Washington, and who's the other one?
I'm sorry, not James Washington. It was Corey Davis and Curtis Samuel.
So I like Corey Davis more than Curtis Samuel, but I know you're not a Corey Davis fan.
I'm more for Corey Davis.
So for me, my guess is you went somewhere between Fuller and Samuel.
I went Fuller.
Okay, that's actually probably who I would have taken over Samuel too, so I have no problem with that.
I went Fuller.
Yeah.
So right now it's Beckham, Lockett, Fuller, Luck, Bell, Aaron Jones, O.J. Howard.
That's a nice start, man. That's a nice start.
Lockett is critical. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Both receivers, Lockett needs to get more targets, and Fuller needs to stay on the damn field.
Yeah, Fuller. When Will Fuller's on the field, he's very good, and he's a deep threat. He can put up big plays. I like Will Fuller a lot, but like you said, the problem with Will Fuller is
Will Fuller on Seattle.
He would be Tyler Lockett.
Yep, the same dude.
Yeah, he's the guy that's going to run a lot of the deep balls. He's got good hands. He's got good speed. He just doesn't get enough targets. It's the same problem Lockett had last year.
Time to start putting this bench together. I play the long game with Miles Sanders as the 37th running back off the board. The problem with the Miles Sanders, say you want to lock in that Eagles running game, you have to kind of do that on the turn. You feel what I'm saying, Benny?
Because you got to take Howard pretty soon too, is what you're saying.
You can't take them around the park. They're going to go in the same round. So if you want to get both, if you want to get Howard and Sanders, you got to do that like that. If you're the 11th, 12th pick, you know what I'm saying? You're looking at round 6, 7, whatever the case may be. What do you think about that strategy, Benny, locking up those 2 backs for the Eagles?
Well, I mean, the Eagles are going to most likely, a lot of people are expecting the Eagles to be pretty good, so there should be a lot of running. There should be a lot of scoring. My biggest problem is what if both of them stay healthy all year? If both of them stay healthy all year, you're going to have, let's say Howard is the guy at the beginning of the year because they want to bring Sanders along slowly, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sometime around week 4 or 5, though, it's a 50-50 split, at least for a couple weeks until it becomes Sanders' job around week 7 or 8. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if you decide to try to lock it up, you're going to have to use one guy early in the year. You're probably going to wind up using Sanders late in the year. But in that middle part where buys start happening and you start needing that third running back to be your second starter and stuff like that, that might be the time where they're splitting 25 carries 50-50, you know?
And you see, the thing about it is, Benny, is locking up the Eagle backfield worth the headache?
I don't really think so.
That's it, too. Now, this is a $35 league, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would have took a shot on it in this league. When we do the silver bullet and we put up $1,000,
yeah,
I'm not going to do it in that league.
You know where I think it would work though, where I would be where I would like it more, I should say, is in a best ball. Because in a best ball, you don't have to make the decision. The decision's out of your hands. It's if Jordan Howard gets rolling and has a big game, fine. Then he's the guy that puts up the big number and ends up in my lineup. If Jordan Howard loses it at some point to Miles Sanders, who becomes the lead back, all right, fine. I don't got to worry about switching off or switching on. I'm going to have Sanders in my lineup. So it's probably more of a best ball thing to do because to me it takes the headache of – because you know what's going to happen if it's not a best ball, Corey. There's going to be 1 week where the torch passes.
Oh, God,
You're going to have Jordan Howard on a 5-carry game, you know?
It's going to be brutal. I'm going to have him in my lineup. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to lose the damn bet. You know, I'm going to lose the bet at the sports book.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And then I'm going to have the big number on my bench, and I'm going to text my girlfriend.
Exactly. You're going to get the 5-carry Howard game when Miles Sanders has 27 fantasy points, 2 touchdowns, and sitting on your bench and takes the job and doesn't look back. And that's going to be the thing that would drive me nuts if I had him.
Oh, my God. So now I'm going to be like, I hate football.
Yep.
I drafted a starting running back in the 10th round.
Okay, who was it?
Peyton Barber.
Okay. Listen, at that point in the draft, I don't mind that for depth.
He's running back, Benny.
I don't mind it for depth at all. I mean, listen, running back production, you know, again, I don't want to get in the whole argument of running backs don't matter that everybody says, but the one thing that nobody argues with on either side of that argument is running back production is dictated by touches.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to get the touches, you're going to produce. If you're not going to get the touches, you're not going to produce. It's that simple. You know, you can't pick up yards if they don't give you the ball to pick up the yards. The fact that Barber is going to get touches makes him, at the very least, a useful fantasy player.
Got him as the 44th running back off the board. Ronald Jones, free rodeo. Shout out to my man Chris Ventura. Ronald Jones went off the board. Running back 41. Benny, how old is Peyton Barber?
I have no friggin' idea. I have no idea.
Peyton Barber is 25 years old, son.
All right, so he's not old.
I feel like Peyton Barber's been in the NFL.
I was going to say the same thing.
A veteran.
Like, my guess was going to be 30 because I didn't know. I had no idea. I'm shocked that he's only 25. But
I feel like Peyton Barber's been playing since the 70s.
You know what it is? Because he has been a useful backup. Like, he gets in there. He doesn't do anything spectacular, but he's always somebody that they plug in and, you know, just let him kind of churn.
If I'm Peyton Barber, right, I'm like, nobody really expects much from me. Exactly. I'm still getting my check. Exactly. I'm in Tampa. You know what I'm saying? I'm good. You know what I mean?
There's worse people to be in the world than Peyton Barber.
Yes, no doubt. Justice Hill in round 11. Justice Hill is a name that's starting to get a lot of hype, mainly because, as we discussed yesterday, he had a lot of talk about the Baltimore Ravens and how this is going to be an innovative style of offense. You know what I'm saying, that they're going to be put together this year. What do you think, Benny?
I think without an injury to Mark Ingram, he's more of kind of a gimmick guy. He's a Curtis Samuels from a couple years ago. The guy has amazing speed. Like, that's what everybody loves about him. Is the kid has like world-class breakaway kind of speed.
Uh-huh.
But I don't think he's going to be the starter. I don't think he's going to be the guy who sees most of the snaps. I think he's going to be a guy that they run some end-arounds with, that they give him some sweeps, try to get him on the outside, maybe a little bit of passing down work, but not like a ton of it. I don't see, without an injury, the path to him being a big-time fantasy player. But again, in the 11th round, that's when you're starting to take some of these backup running backs. I don't think it's a bad spot to grab a guy.
You're not buying the hype.
Well, he has upside. I'm not saying he doesn't, but it's not like he has a clear path to production. He's going to be behind Mark Ingram.
Yeah, no doubt.
So he needs an injury to Mark Ingram for him to have a chance to have a breakout season. Other than that, he's going to be again, when I say Curtis Samuel, that's not knocking him. Like, Curtis Samuel had some good games and, you know, can put up some numbers, but you're not going to get a lot of touches out of this guy without an injury to Ingram, is what I'm saying.
They may be more valuable to the Baltimore Ravens than they are. Hollywood Brown and Justice Hill will be more valuable to the Baltimore Ravens than they will be to your fantasy team.
This year, yes. Dynasty style, those are definitely two guys to lock up.
Rounding it off, Benny, some of our guys, Deebo Samuels, David Moore, Greg Olsen again in the last round, and Jamal Williams just to protect myself with Aaron Jones. So there you go right there. And when you look at this, I'm about to go on the clock someplace else, so we can talk about this one before we get to baseball too. This is the Raz Bowl, I believe. Oh no, this is just a regular NFFC 25.
Okay.
There's another industry contest going on this year called the Raz Bowl. I'm in that joint with a couple cats. I'm in the same league as Ronan, so it's only right. And just like Scott's Fishbowl, son, I get in the slowest damn league. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, Come on, y'all. What are we doing? Greg Ambrosius in my league. Ronus in my league. Rudy Gamble's in my league. Your man Kenny from RotoWare is in my league. I'm like, all right, this is a fun bunch.
Well, you know what? I mean, those are all guys. Those are all guys that are knee deep in it right now too. So it shouldn't be taking you guys that long to draft right now.
These are dudes that's that. Well, what's homeboy that always battle? I just said his name. The Ronus rivalry in Top Wars. Rudy Gamble.
Okay.
He was like he's in the Bahamas. So you know what I'm saying.
So he's taking 8 hours on his picks because he has to run to the internet cafe and make them real fast.
Shoddy with the in reception. So we'll probably get into that a little bit more tomorrow, and also tomorrow look at some of the early DFS stuff. Right quick though, in this NFFC, Benny, I started Dalvin Cook and Nick Chubb. I came back with the 2 Tylers, Lockett and Boyd. Got Rashad Penny, got Evan Ingram, and I'm coming up on the clock, looking at a third wide possibly. I'm probably not going to go quarterback yet. Probably looking at a third wide right here. Let's just see who's on the board, and then on this, your man is sitting right there. How about that? Corey Davis, Cortland Sutton, Sterling Shepard, Marvin Jones, D.D. Westbrook, Golden Tate, Kiki Kuti, Curtis Samuel, James Washington, Geronimo Allison is the top 10 wide receivers on the board right now.
I mean, you're not going to like my answer, but with the names you gave me, it's Corey Davis.
Man, Benny, I'm trying to figure out this Corey Davis love affair right here.
Well, look at the other names that you mentioned, right? Cortland Sutton. What do you expect from him this year? 50, 60 catches?
If that. Joe Flacco's his quarterback. You know what I'm saying?
Right, if that. Okay. So go to who are the other?
Mariota's Corey Davis quarterback, though.
Yeah, but Corey Davis, again, I'm not saying that that's wrong, but I'd rather have Mariota than Joe Flacco throwing to me.
That's true. Sterling Shepard could be a one.
You're rolling the dice on injury there. That's the thing. Are you willing to take that chance? Because I try to avoid anybody who comes into a season with an injury.
And I agree with you on that. Marvin Jones.
Not the number one.
Says who?
Says me. Says Kenny Golladay being much better than him.
I don't know. I mean, he's better, but does that mean what? I think that's got to be a Matthew Stafford decision, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's going to be a Matthew. Well, actually, it's probably going to be a defensive coordinator in their division. The decision on where they're going to roll the safety. Double.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't mind Marvin Jones, but I still like Corey Davis better. But I do think Marvin Jones is one that you could have a reasonable disagreement with me with Corey Davis on.
I don't like this group right here. Like, I'd rather drop down to Washington and Allison. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I like
go quarterback here. What did you say you were thinking of going quarterback instead? Who are the quarterbacks on the board?
I just feel like I'm going early quarterback in almost every draft, which I don't mind. Drew Brees, Russell, but now this is
the guys that you wanted are gone already. The guys that you want right here are gone already.
Yeah, so I'm gonna wait. I'll wait it out.
So who's the running back right now then?
Oh Lord!
Wow, this is a tough draft. Then what round is this? 6.
Lamar Miller. This is the 7-8 turn.
Oh, 7-8 turn. All right. Well, okay. So I mean, listen, you're not gonna have a lot left at 7-8 turn. Yeah,
Jordan,
man.
Can I do Jordan Howard and Miles Sanders? No, Miles Sanders is gone. You got Lamar Miller, Lat Murray, Jordan Howard, Royce Freeman, Ronald Jones, Austin Eckler. I
mean, I like Lat Murray. Well, yeah, Austin Eckler's a good one there too. I like Lat Murray. Probably would take Austin Eckler ahead of him at this point. But
yeah, I would too.
This is an NFFC one, so what? 2 flexes?
1 flex.
Austin Eckler's not a bad pick here if you don't like Corey Davis or Marvin Jones. I think Austin Eckler, Corey Davis, Marvin Jones are your choices here.
Those are the dudes that are going in the queue. Obviously, I give your man Corey Davis a shot. This is a $25 league. You know what I'm saying, Benny?
Put it this way. I think he's going to take a step up this year. This is his 3rd year in the league, if I'm not mistaken. So this is the year where wide receivers usually break out. And like I said, the thing that I liked a lot about him, he is their number one. He's literally their only receiver. And he's the guy who they gave the ball to on 3rd down all the time last year. One of the problems I had with this offense is they were like an old school offense that didn't really use analytics. It was run, pass on third down. Run, pass on third down. When you do that, third down is very tough to pick up because you're running when the defense knows you're going to run and you're passing when the defense knows you're going to pass. So if they could put a little more creativity in this offense with a healthy Mariota this year, they're going to open a lot of things up. And, you know, again, you're throwing low probability passes to Corey Davis in situations where the defense knows you're going to throw. And he still put up decent enough numbers to be in line with a lot of those guys. So I'm expecting a big step forward from Corey Davis. So I don't know how this happened that I didn't come into this season wanting to be be who was Corey Davis' flag. But apparently I am because I'm higher on him than everybody else.
Cool. What's that year? What was that running back in Denver that Jake fell in love with that year?
Was it CJ Anderson?
Oh yeah, it was CJ. Goddamn, it was CJ Anderson.
Well, listen, after last year with St. Louis, he wasn't exactly wrong. He was just early. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right. So there you go, right there. Like I said, we'll update the drafts as we go through, but that's where I'm at. Austin Eckler, Corey Davis, and Dede Westbrook are in my queue. Mm-hmm. We'll see what happens.
I like Dede too. You know what? I might even go Dede Westbrook over
Corey Davis.
Not over Corey Davis, but over Marvin Jones.
Yeah, no doubt. I can definitely see that because
he's the one, right? He's the number one now in Jacksonville.
I would say he's the one. You know what I'm saying? So interesting. All right, Vinny, what we got? Trade deadline, baseball. What's going on?
Yeah, I mean, right now there's really no news. The best news I could say to you guys is the story that's kind of coming out now is that teams are kind of scoffing at what the Mets are asking for some of these starting pitchers. Mm-hmm. They were basically saying to Toronto, like, listen, you got 2 mid-level prospects for Stroman, so don't be asking us for, future or current all-star caliber players for guys like Wheeler and Syndergaard. So, again, I don't know if the Mets wind up screwing themselves. I don't know if Toronto accepting much less for Stroman wound up screwing them, Mets or the other teams. But pitchers are not bringing the returns that teams thought they were going to be bringing at the deadline. So some of the names that are on the block, it almost seems like they're no longer on the block. So pretty interesting thing that's going on, a little bit of push-pull on what these guys are actually worth for the stretch runs here.
All right, so there you go. One thing I will say, and I think I saw Seeley tweet this. It's like the dude in your league that drafts 5 quarterbacks so he can trade them, and the rest may be like, you know what, you're just gonna be stuck with them.
It's like, well, listen, this is a 1 quarterback league. There's 30, 25 usable ones in the league. You got 5. There's 20 for the rest of us to kind of spread around. Oh well, have fun with it. I'm not giving you, Saquon Barkley for one of the 5 quarterbacks you have on your roster right now.
No doubt. So with today's news with Tyreek Hill leaving Chiefs practice with an apparent leg injury, it said he took a big hit, had to be helped off, and he was carted off the field. So obviously, as we get more information on that, maybe make sure fantasyguru.com, everything on Twitter, we got you covered as we get more information. If you are drafting today, be wary of that. So there you go, right there.
Don't draft him today if you're drafting today. Yeah, if you're drafting today, just don't do it.
Travis Kelce is a first rounder today. You know what I'm saying? And you might see a little bump on Sammy Watkins today. But like I said, we don't know what's going on. The thing about injury analysis is everybody wants to know what's happening right away.
Here's what you got to think of when you're drafting at this time of year. Again, I mean, I just talked about it. You got to avoid all the injuries. Any major injury right now you have to avoid, because I would rather have a guy who's 95% of Tyreek Hill that you could still draft, at the same point in time and let Tyreek Hill slip a little bit to somebody else in my draft. Let somebody else take that risk. Like, you don't want to take that risk. It's hard enough to stay healthy for 16 games. You don't want to start taking risks on a guy when he has an injury already that he's dealing with and you don't know how it's going to work out. Now, again, that risk is much less if Tyreek Hill falls back to the 7th round. But in the 3rd round and the 4th round, don't be the guy who takes Tyreek Hill for the next day or two until we know what's up.
Until we figure that out. Mecole Hardman also a little bit later on. Like you said, in this next 24 to 48-hour window, you'll start to see him up draft boards. Where I'm at on the clock right now on this 7-8 turn, is not where you draft Miko Hartman at, though. You know what I'm saying? Until we know something. So don't get carried away with it. Benny, you got any baseball picks before we get out of here?
Couple things I'm looking at. There's one early game today. The Padres are playing, and I do like the Padres to get over 5.5 today. Over 5.5 is paying plus 116. So I think that's a pretty decent one. If you're looking for some daytime action here, I like the Padres to win, but at minus 220, I can't take them to win.
Yeah.
I like the Angels to win tonight, but minus 250, I can't take them. I like the Yankees, but minus 230, I can't take them. The other thing I'm looking at that I may go into, Pittsburgh Cincinnati Reds over 9.5. Yesterday, the Reds went nuts and put up a monster number there. I do think both sides can score a couple runs here today. So over 9.5 tonight on Pittsburgh Cincinnati. I'll probably go in on the Padres bet this afternoon. If I hit the over on the Padres 5.5,
we'll run it back.
Put that money, run it back with Pittsburgh and Cincinnati tonight.
All right, there you go, the opening line. The opening line brought to you by the good people at fantasyguru.com. Draft kit, draft guide available now. Elite Fantasy also got ready to rock and roll for the DFS season. And don't forget Elite Sports Betting. So good things going on with the home team. For my main man, Benny, it's Corey Parson, the fantasy executive. We are out.